The Los Angeles Rams sitting at 5-5, hosting the Philadelphia Eagles at 8-2 this Sunday, SoFi Stadium, Sunday Night Football. 5:20 p.m. kickoff time on NBC. Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, and Melissa Stark bringing you the info. For you radio listeners, we do appreciate you. Westwood 1 will feature Ryan Radke, Kurt Warner, and Scott Graham will be in studio. If you're heading out for the game, by the way, showers are expected in Inglewood on Sunday, but should be able to avoid getting wet if you are going to the game. Seems like the bulk of it will be early, but from everything that I'm seeing, there is still about 25-ish% chance leading into the game. So if you're heading out there, make sure you dress appropriately. The Rams, for you bettors, by the way, plus 2.5 points right now, so coming in as underdogs against the Philadelphia Eagles. Moneyline, plus 126, the over-under, 48.5. Oh, pants picks for this one. The Rams back in the Royal, and only one of us can be right. So I'm going at the bone. Payo Time is going with the Royal, and Rams House is going with the Soul Pants. You can feel free to drop your pants picks below. The Rams now don't do it 24 hours out. They do it much earlier, usually a Thursday. So by the time you see this, we may already have that answer. But we already have them locked in. I record Wednesday, so I promise we don't know. Okay. But I do really wish the Rams would go back to the 24 hours of the letting us know the pants and stuff like that. Because now that little 24-hour notification pops up from the app, and it's like, I've already seen all that stuff. So I don't even open it anymore. I just clear it out. And that's kind of lame because I like opening that and then getting into all the chaos, man. But yeah, so drop your pants picks. Only one of us, though, coming out on top this week. We'll see what happens. The Eagles, by the way, have won their last 6. They were 2-2, and the Eagles did play on Thursday Night Football last week. So a little bit of a mini bye from them, and still fighting off Washington in their divisional race. So still pushing, and certainly something that we can still expect from Philly is wanting to get a home game. Philadelphia, obviously, the fan base out there, very intense, and a home playoff game for the Philadelphia Eagles has to be kind of in their mind all the time of get other teams there in January, you know what I mean? So obviously from our perspective, we would like to ruin that, but we'll see what we can do on Sunday Night Football, I suppose. History of this matchup. This is the 45th all-time meeting between the Rams and the Eagles. 3 of those games happening in the postseason. So the Eagles lead the all-time series 23-20-1. The Rams lost the most recent. That was on October 8th of last year, 23-14. The Rams did, though, win in 2020. I remember that game was absolutely awesome. 37-19. Tyler Higbee went off, dude. Had 3 touchdowns in that game. Absolutely awesome. I believe that's still his career high, if I'm not mistaken. Before that game, though, that 2020 COVID game, that's what, in my head, dude, I don't know why it is burned so into my head, Tyler Higbee dancing in front of an empty stadium. I don't even know what emotions I feel about that. I don't know if it's, like, scary. I don't know if it's, like, hilarious to me. I have no clue what emotions seeing Tyler Higbee do his little end zone dance in front of nobody does to me, man, but it does live in my brain. I think about it regularly, way more than I need to, but I don't know. Maybe I'm alone there, and that's okay. Before that game, though, the COVID game, Eagles won the previous 6. First ever game between these two came on September 21st of 1937. The Rams won that game 21-3, and that was the Rams' first ever franchise win. Pretty awesome stuff. The Rams got to 1-1 on that game. But that was the only game that the Rams won that year. But first ever win coming against the Philadelphia Eagles. Rams also, by the way, despite having 3 less wins than Philadelphia, have outscored the Eagles overall, 893-885. And also in this series, Rams and Eagles have met twice in NFC Championship games, 1-1. So the Rams, though, they went on to take on the New England Patriots in one of those Super Bowls, which still kind of just haunts me in a weird way of just knowing that, like, the whole Patriots Tom Brady dynasty started February 3rd against the Rams in a Super Bowl and pretty much ended February 3rd in a Super Bowl win against the Los Angeles Rams years later, dude. That's crazy to think that those 2 Super Bowls were like, that was the Patriots stretch of chaos. We needed to get back to the Super. Those were the rules. we had to something was up, man. There's some kind of curse that needed to be lifted or something to get them back down to earth, man, which is where they're at now, coming off a loss to the Los Angeles Rams, of course. Some stuff that we're watching in this game. Eagles, like I said, coming in pretty hot after winning their last 6. But unlike Britney Spears, Nick Sirianni, man, he's done well since he shaved his head. That wasn't a whole meltdown. Turns out it was more of a get back together kind of situation. So, but the Rams come in off of a win, but another game that Rams fans feel like should have been a stronger performance against the New England Patriots. But I even said it last week during the game that the Rams were beating the Patriots and the Rams. Like, there was a point there where it was like, we're beating 2 teams right now, and we're winning this game. I don't understand how it happens, but it's wildly impressive. Philly's last 2 wins, by the way, have been decisive, but those were both divisional games. So I don't put a whole lot into decisive division wins. The Arizona Cardinals beat the butt cheeks off the Rams earlier this year. So, I mean, I don't look too deep into division blowouts, because sometimes the team just gets you. Sometimes they come in with the perfect little plan. Maybe you come in a little light, whatever. But the Eagles off to Baltimore after this game as well. So a few tough games from the Philly perspective. And I don't even know. I have no idea what the Philadelphia Eagles side is thinking or saying in this. I don't know if they're coming in like, yeah, we're just gonna beat up on the LA Rams and move on, or if they're like, actually, the Rams, this is gonna be a tough game. I don't know the perspective of the Eagles. We don't have an Eagles fan to talk to. We don't know any. All right. I do know a few, but I don't know if they would do the show. Probably wouldn't want to. It's okay. Maybe it doesn't matter. Let's take a look at the matchup in this one. We'll start with the Rams offense going against the Philadelphia Eagles defense. The Rams offense officially ranking 27th in the league right now, going against the number 1 defense out of the Philadelphia Eagles, who are doing well, especially against the pass, second against the pass, against the run as well, though not giving up 100 a game, but almost, ranking 7th. The Rams can throw the ball, 7th in the league there, and I would say not doing a poor job running, but just don't really try it as often as I think they should, ranking 26th. The Rams are putting up 21.3 games a game, or 21.3 points a game. That's 21st in the league. Eagles giving up 22. It's tied for 13th. And third down conversion rate, almost 34% for the Rams. That's 27th. And giving up almost 35 for the Philadelphia Eagles. That is 8th in the league. The Rams offense has definitely felt inconsistent, but it also has shown explosion. We saw that last week where there was some drives where it's like, okay, guys, what are we doing out here? Get this rolling, man. And then obviously then you get like the Cooper Kupp 69-yard touchdown pass. That's just absolutely incredible, stuff like that. And then even Puka had some incredible plays where he's like, what? How do you do that, man? That's because he's Puka. There's no explanation outside of that. Puka doing Puka things, man. So it's absolutely exciting, obviously. But we can do explosive things. This team is built to just blow it up at any time and can score from any spot on the field. We've definitely known that, though, under Sean McVay. Eagles defense, though, fast and aggressive. The Rams will need to match that if they would like to stay in this game. And ball control, I think, is really the key to this matchup. Don't let them burn all the clock with our young defense on the field and then force, what we know is maybe going to happen, which is Sean McVay, if he gets behind, gets a little pass happy, goes away from that run game, which is something that I think we need to really make sure that we are sticking to this game. And I know that typically the Rams defer. I would almost like to see the ball first in this game with a solid plan on how to attack that first drive. And ideally, in my head, the Rams open the game with the ball and just march it down, killing clock, all ready to start the game. You're just killing clock, making the whole Eagles offensive sideline, like they're all hyped up and stuff like that. And then they watch us do like an 8-minute drive. And they're just kind of like, okay, that's what I want to see so bad, dude. That's, I think, in my mind, absolutely ideal is going to be ball control in this one. Don't let our defense be on the field all day and just hang on to it ourselves. Kyron, Blake, it's going to be a big one for those guys in my mind. Best matchup in this one, I'm going Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua going against Quinion Mitchell. Also, they do have Darius Slay, but I'm focusing on Mitchell here because Mitchell is the only guy who could catch verse in the Defensive Rookie of the Year conversation and has to guard one of the sickest, slickest, meanest route running wide receiver combos alive, dude. Good luck, Quinion Mitchell. I know he's played some good people, all right? I'm not going to try to say that he hasn't had some good talent to go against so far this year, but the way that Puka and Cooper are able to run routes and shake people, I mean, that's a tough ask, man, for a rookie. I don't care how good that rookie is. That is a tough ask. Verse has a tough matchup too. In fairness, if we're talking about the D-Roy, kind of battle here, we'll hit on that here in a second. But let's not pretend like Kupp and Nakua aren't the real deal. And going against Mitchell, he's got his hands full for sure, man. Mitchell, by the way, having an incredible season. He's doing awesome. But Nakua and Kupp, they feel like they can just hit some kind of different stride with Stafford, and it feels like we're kind of seeing that develop at this time now. It feels like based on like last week, I would say that the Stafford to Kupp, Stafford to Nakua connection is back now, is what I would say. 3-2C on the Rams offensive side of the ball. I'm going to start with D-Rob. Demarcus Robinson had a few games where he was absolutely going off. A couple of games scoring multiple touchdowns, had only had one multi-touchdown game in his entire career entering the year. Already has multiple this year. Love to see that. He has quieted down statistically over the last few weeks. I do think his impact is being felt in the scheme. He is just getting less targets. When you've got 10 and 17 out there, I mean, you got to get those guys the football for sure. But with Darius Slay and Quinion Mitchell being on 10 and 17 on the outside, D-Rob will likely be covered up a lot by Cooper DeJean, the rookie corner as well. DeJean also having a really strong season, strong rookie campaign. But D-Rob is a smooth veteran, all right? And this should be a really fun one to watch because I feel like Cooper DeJean, as he's not playing poorly, D-Rob's a vet, and he's been around. He's been, he's been places, and he's done some really cool things. So I think that's going to be a really fun battle to watch, is D-Rob going against DeJean. Next up, we're going Matthew Stafford. I feel like I've put Matthew Stafford on here a lot this year because we all know to watch Matthew Stafford. We know that this dude's awesome. We know he's fun to watch. We know he's absolutely slinging it all the time, and it's just awesome. But going against one of the top passing defenses in the league, we got to have one of those Stafford games, man. One of those all-timers. One of those games where we look at it, we're like, oh my gosh, like this is a top-tier guy, man. He's one of the best in the league. We need to have that again. 9th in sacks as well for the Eagles defense, but this is, like I mentioned before, the first time that the Rams should have their top 5 offensive linemen out. With Big Rob returning, everybody's back. Love to see that, man. Absolutely love to see it. And under the lights at SoFi, against a team sitting in the 2 slot in the NFC playoff race, this could be one of those Rams are back kind of games, and that would greatly depend, I believe, in Matthew Stafford's ability to just absolutely dissect this defense. Because if he can do that, if he can put up like a game where he's got like 336 and 3 touchdowns or something like that, I think that a lot of eyeballs are going to be pointing over to the Rams, especially this game is a standalone. Primetime, Sunday Night Football. God, I love it. Next up on the 3-to-C here, final one is going to be Kyren Williams. K-Dub, not to outdo the pass. The Eagles' defense is really strong against the run as well. Just a strong overall defense. Kyren does well when he gets the ball often. And he was really, really turning it up late against the New England Patriots. That was really cool to see. You even saw a few where he knew he was almost out of there. He gets tackled, he gets up I love those because he was just about to explode on that one. But the run game, I think it's going to be critical in this game, like I had mentioned. With the Eagles, they're doing a great job in time of possession as well. Running the ball, though, they're one of the top running teams that we'll get into here in a moment. But time of possession is going to be something that the Rams do need to worry about in this game and try to limit when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles side. So getting Kyren rolling will be huge for this Rams team this weekend. In the advantage here, I'm going to Philly. I'll give the advantage to Philly. Their rankings are solid. They have a really solid young roster. They've got really good players. So I'll give them that advantage mainly because of the rankings and the fact that this is really the first game. Well, it's not even yet actually because we're still down Tyler Higbee. But we have our first game now. We're only down to one guy missing on offense. That's huge, right? So once we get Higgs back, then everybody will, of course, be back. It seems like we'll have a few more weeks for him, hopefully sooner rather than later. But then we'll have everybody back. But obviously, Davis Allen, I think he's doing a fine job. And Colby Parkinson getting that touchdown and sweeping the leg, dude. That was pretty cool. I mean, I'm not rooting for anybody to get hurt on the sidelines or anything like that, but that was fun to watch. Touchdown, I was like, yes, dude. Super cool. Super cool. Let's flip over to the other side here. We got the Eagles offense going against the Rams defense. The Eagles offense is a top 5 unit. The Rams defense ranking 23rd at this time. Both are ranking 22nd, so pretty even here. 22nd for the pass attack of the Eagles and 22nd for the pass defense of the Rams. Running the ball, this is going to be a tough one here as Saquon and Jalen Hurts make up the number 1 rush attack out of Philadelphia. The Rams sitting just below middle of the field, ranking 18th. Points being put up. The Eagles are putting up almost 26. That's 7th in the league, and Rams giving up a little over 24. That's 22nd. Third down conversion rate, 41.2 for the Philadelphia Eagles is 11th, and the Rams are dead center, giving up almost 38% of the opponent's third downs, 16th in the league there. The Rams defense has been really top tier since the Packers game, and there are some games that I do think are kind of skewing those averages a little bit. Like you look at the Arizona game, if you remove that Arizona game, this Rams defense like jumps like right away in the rankings. But obviously you can't do that. It happened, so you can't just remove stats and all that. But ever since that Packers game, this defense has been really, really on. And Eagles offense definitely no slouch, and plenty of big names to worry about. I mean, the outside corners have their hands full. This run defense has its hands full. We got Saquon out here. We got A.J. Brown. We got Devontae Smith. I mean, this is a loaded team that can definitely do some damage to you. But we know those guys. We know A.J. Brown. We know Devontae Smith. We know Saquon Barkley. We know Jalen Hurts. So I want to talk about some other guys going in, some other battles here that I just think are a little bit more interesting. So best matchup on the defense for the Rams, Jared versus Jordan Mailata. And this is a great matchup. Mailata is having an incredible season at left tackle, but Jared Verse is the clear-cut defensive rookie of the year and could end up getting a Pro Bowl nod. Maybe second team All-Pro. I don't want to throw too much out there, but I'm just saying, man, he's absolutely playing incredible. Unstoppable force, meet immovable object, man. Under the SoFi lights, this is the stuff, my guy. Like this is what I get fired up for, man. This is why I do this stuff, man. Absolutely incredible. You have top tier versus top tier. Let them go at it all game. I love this stuff. Your 3-2C for the Rams defensive side of the ball, though. We're going to start with Omar Speights, inside linebacker, undrafted rookie. He is from Philadelphia, and his family is actually flying out for this game. It's the first regular season game that his family will be in attendance for, coming out to SoFi Stadium. That's got to mean he's going off, right? He's just going to show out in front of the fam. I'm feeling it, man. Omar Speights, keep your eyeballs on him on this one. Showing up big in front of the fam. Would absolutely love to see that. Cam Kinchins. Cam, coming off another big day. Another big day. NFC Player of the Week. Not Rookie of the Week. Player of the Week. He's done that twice. Absolutely incredible. Closed out the game last week with that INT. Absolutely incredible. And Cam, man, I think that ultimately I'm putting Cam here because I am loving his story so far in this season for the Rams. He started the season, and then we saw Jalen McCullough, or Tank McCullough, as I found out they call him on the Rams Revealed this week with Darius Williams. Didn't know that. That's cool, though. Love it. But McCullough absolutely blown up, and now Cam's blown up. How do the Rams do this, man? It's absolutely incredible. I'm a big, big fan of this. But this 2024 Rams, this team is really fun to watch, and it's because of guys like Cam Kinchins. Is this the best Rams team of all time? No, probably not. I mean, in fairness, the story is not complete. What if we just never lose again and go to the Super Bowl and win it? Like, then we have to consider that this is. But, I mean, the story's not complete, but we've also had some really, really top-tier teams. That 2021 Rams team, unreal, dude. Unreal. Even looking back at it now, seeing like Eric Weddle and Von Miller and OBJ, it's like, dang, man. Like, that was fun, man. Let's do that again. That was cool stuff. But this team, it's fun to watch, man. It makes me excited, too, about what the future kind of holds for this team because we have so many young guys who are such like a good core that, like, imagine when Kobe, Byron, Jared, and Braden on the defensive front have multiple years under their collective belts. What happens when Jalen McCullough, Cam Kinchins, and these guys are just like the sickest safeties of all time? And also, like we're still missing John Johnson, who was playing like one of the best safeties in the league before he got hurt. Where does he even fit back in when he's healthy? Like that's That's kind of where we're sitting. I don't understand how anybody is like, "Yeah, we're dead. This team, no, we're dead. It's over." Like, I'm so fired up that and maybe I'm alone, dude, but it's people like Cam Kinchins that I'm like, I don't know how you guys can be down on this season, man. I'm hyped as heck, and I'm having a great time, man. Even if we don't, go all the way and all that stuff, this has been so much fun, man. In a season we lost Aaron Donald where we're all just like, no. And then we bring in some sick players like this, man. I mean, that's all you can ask for. I mean, yeah, nobody's going to play forever. So this is all you can ask for. Absolutely incredible. Final one on the 3-C defensive side. We're going to go with Braden Fisk. Fisky. The tush push. That's why. That is why I'm putting him in here, all right? I did originally slot in Kobe Turner here because I like the idea that Kobe has been through a week of practice alongside Aaron Donald in preparation to stop plays such as that, such as just last year, these guys together doing it. But Fisk, he might be built to stop this play. Braden Fisk is the build and the kind of player who seems like if there's a guy you want on your team to stop a play like that, feels like it's Braden Fisk. Fisk can get low. He can allow guys like Kobe and Bobby to use their big bodies and get leverage if he can get low on those guys. And then the rest of the gang just starts pushing, man. You bring in a Roseboom, a Spates, Verse, Byron. Like, I feel decent about it, all right? And obviously that's a very, very tough play to stop, but I like it, man. And Fisk going against Cam Jurgens, I on that specific play, man, I think it's something that I would say I hope we get to see it. That's it. I think that's where I'm at with it. Even if it's just like 1 4th down that we get to see it, because like obviously this play is like it's not very riveting from a spectator perspective. That's a weird way to say it. From a spectator perspective, that feels like an Eminem lyric, but it's not fun to watch. So entertainment value is terrible on it, but it is definitely a good football play. I'll say that because it's just brutes on brutes. So absolutely exciting there. But either way, Braden Fisk, I think that if the Eagles try to pull out this play, I think Braden Fisk is going to be a very important piece of the Rams to stop that side. Take a look at some connections here. As former Rams on the Eagles, just quarterbacks coach Doug Nussmeier. He was the Rams quarterbacks coach 06 to 07. And I'm not here to talk trash about Doug, okay? Just saying, not exactly the 6 quarterbacking years of the Rams. That's all I'm saying, all right? Former Eagles who were on the Rams, senior defensive assistant Sean Desai. He was the DC out there just last year. Some NFL connections for you. Matthew Stafford and Jonah Jackson played in Detroit with cornerback Darius Slay. That only happened for 1 year, 2020. Tyler Johnson played in Tampa Bay with tackle Fred Johnson. Tyler Johnson also played in Houston with defensive tackle Thomas Booker IV and safety Tristan McCullum. K-Dot played in Pittsburgh with quarterback Kenny Pickett as well. So he was protecting Pickett now. Well, he won't be personally destroying his life because Pickett probably also won't play, but still fun. In college, few connections here. We have Bobby Brown played at Texas A&M with punter Braden Mann and wide receiver Aniyah Smith. That was a very, very fun A&M team to watch. I'm a Texas A&M fan, Giga Maggies. And there was a push there for Braden Mann, who was playing unreal as a punter. He was nailing it. And there was a bunch of like A&M conversations of like, Braden Mann for Heisman, man. The punter. Let's get the punter to the Heisman because he was absolutely killing it. And it was very like Johnny Hecker-ish with like the way he was playing in college. It was top tier. And for a Rams fan and Texas A&M fan to have both those punters, I mean, I will brag about having my teams having the sickest punters in the league. All right, I will do that. I am not above it. And Aniyah Smith, super speedy. If he gets in there, speed is his game for sure. Demarcus Robinson played at Florida with quarterbacks coach Doug Nussmeier. He was the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach, so he was D-Rob's OC in college. And tackle Fred Johnson was there as well. Davis Allen and Tyler Davis, a couple of Davises, Davai? I don't know. Played at Clemson with running back Will Shipley and linebacker Jeremiah Trotter Jr., who I absolutely love that he plays for the Philadelphia Eagles. Super, super cool stuff there. Jared Verse and Braden Fisk, they were rocking together at FSU with wide receiver Johnny Wilson. Tutu Atwell, the Tutu train. He played at Louisville with offensive lineman Mekhi Becton. Big boy there. Tutu, not so much, but the speedster. Troy Reader, he played at Penn State with running back Saquon Barkley. Troy Reader is on IR right now, so he won't be in this game, but does know Saquon. Christian Roseboom played at South Dakota State with tight end Dallas Goddard. Didn't think we were going to get into South Dakota State today, did ya? Deshaun Johnson played at Toledo with Quinion Mitchell, as well as linebacker Dallas Gant. And Omar Spates, he played at LSU with safety Andre Sam. Some pretty cool stuff there. And then we have milestones here for you. Some pretty cool ones, all right? So I love this. I love looking at where guys are at on the rankings and like where they're at in team history and NFL history. I have so much fun digging into that stuff. I'll look at it for hours, and sometimes I'll forget to take notes. Sometimes I'm just studying and being like, oh, that's cool, and then just move on. And I'm like, oh, I should probably talk about that. I have a podcast about this, you know. But Matthew Stafford, he is officially 10th all-time in passing touchdowns in NFL history, officially passing Eli Manning. He had the 4 this past Sunday. He also, speaking of 4 touchdown passes, 7th most games with at least 4 touchdown passes, passing Big Ben and officially tying Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, and Johnny Unitas. Puka Nacua, his 117 receiving yards in the first half last week were the most in a half in his career. And the most in a half by a Rams receiver since Deshaun Jackson. Yeah, we also forgot he was a 2021 LA Ram. He had like a 120 in the second half. What was week 3 in Tampa? Don't quote me on that. I might be right, but I'm not confident enough to say for sure. But yeah, Puka Nacua, man, nailing it that first half. He was on fire. And 7th Rams player, Puka Nacua, is to score 7 receiving touchdowns in their first 22 games. Most recently done by Cooper Kupp. You may have heard his name. Speaking of Cooper Kupp, this is going to be his 99th career NFL game. And by the way, he did reach sole 3rd place in Rams history in receiving touchdowns. He is now officially only behind Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce. He did pass Elroy Hirsch in that regard. So, yeah, one of the best 3 receivers this team has ever seen. Statistically speaking, I mean, he's top-notch on everything, and obviously not only the player, Cooper Kupp, is top tier and absolute pinnacle, but the human being of Cooper Kupp, maybe better than the player of Cooper Kupp, which is saying so much. Cooper Kupp, top tier kind of human being, for sure. He's also the first player in NFL history to record at least 600 receptions, at least 7,500 receiving yards, and at least 50 receiving touchdowns in their first 100 games. And he's got 2 more to go until that deadline hits. Kupp also officially has more games as a Ram with 100-plus receiving yards and multiple touchdowns than Torrey Holt. That's wild, huh? Pretty cool stuff there. And also needs 6 receptions in the next 2 games. So average 3 against Philadelphia and New Orleans. He would then pass Julio Jones for 3rd most in a player's first 100 games, NFL history. Sean McVay. Sean McVay needs just 1 regular season win to pass John Robinson for most regular season wins in franchise history. John Robinson, of course, our thoughts are with his family, as Sean McVay did pass him for all-time wins, including playoffs. Now has the opportunity to do it in a regular season. Can't think of a better person, a better milestone to pass and to show some respect for John Robinson and what he was able to do, not just for the Rams, but for Southern California sports. I know we've got a lot of USC fans here as well who also know him from his time there. And Jared Verse or Braden Fisk needs 1 sack on Sunday, so it has to happen this week, needs just 1 sack on Sunday to pass Aaron Donald, Byron Young, and Robert Quinn for most sacks in first 11 games in franchise history. These guys are individually off to an extremely hot start. Individually. The Rams got them both together, coming from college together. Dude, you can say whatever you want to say about the Rams and reaching for Fisk, whatever that means for awesome players. If you're reaching for dudes who have a huge impact on your team, then sure, we reached for Braden Fisk. I'll take that, fine. But the Rams got a lot of hate for that. And I think that we're seeing now that not only maybe it's one of those things where if Braden Fisk goes somewhere else, he's not as dominant. Maybe he needed Jared to be this guy. But either way, I think when the Rams made that move, and we've talked about that ad nauseum, all right, all regular season or all offseason heading into the regular season of like, it wasn't Braden Fisk alone that the Rams wanted. The deal and the trade was made to get Braden Fisk to play alongside Jared Verse. That was the point. And that is happening and absolutely killing it. So sorry about your quarterbacks, rest of the NFL, because the Rams are here to destroy their souls. Hate to break it to you. Philadelphia Eagles, Sunday Night Football, taking on the Los Angeles Rams at SoFi Stadium this week. Be there, dude. Be there. Check out the Recyclaw. That sounds so cool. I want to see it so bad. I can't. That's going to be the first thing I do when I get in there on the 8th. For sure, dude. Sounds so sick. We got